And everything was practical today. I mean, again, part of the conversation of the politics is they're going to ignore the fact that you guys were talking about the AFP who could be deployed tomorrow to stabilise the situation.
That's exactly right. We know that the AFP have put that offer on the table for the Territory Government. But they're in this kerfuffle with now what appears to be the outgoing Police Commissioner. They're embroiled in that to actually have the opportunity, or they're either ignoring that invitation from the AFP, or they're using this as an excuse not to get on with the job. But they've always got an excuse, and that's the issue. And when we come in to talk to people on the ground, you only have to speak to individuals who have listened, who have been speaking to Dutton over the last couple of days, and they've been in tears. They're like, thank God, actually somebody in a leadership position is listening to us, is prepared to fight on our behalf. And all Labor can say in that is accuse us of politicising this issue, when in fact they are doing that by suggesting that in the first place. That is all they've got.
Well, and what do you want to say to the media that are going to spend the next 4 days talking about whether or not you or Peter Dutton will be mandatory reporting the conversations that you've heard about? Again, distraction and garbage rather than the reality. This is where you know what's going to happen. You know where The Guardian goes in the next few days. You know how this gets cut up on Media Watch. You know how this looks.
Where's the bloody mainstream media's mandatory reporting on what is going on? Where are their investigative journalists actually going out and listening to people who are terrified of telling their story to a journalist or publicly? You know, we have a situation, the Territory has been described as a failed state. We have people who are victims who are too scared to speak out about their circumstances because of repercussions. Whenever Labor say, well, who are these people you're talking to? Who are these Aboriginal people you're talking to? Because the minute you mention anybody's name, those people are going to be threatened. Those people are now blacklisted from Labor, that they won't get support from, because what they're concerned about is the next election cycle and getting back into power, not actually what's going on the ground. But I can guarantee you, I am fielding calls. I am having conversations with people who know what's going on. There's frontline workers who can't talk about what's going on because otherwise, we saw what happened to that nurse, earlier on this year who talked about these situations. The left-wing media jumped on her, tried to discredit her. She was ripped to shreds by leftists, all because she actually cares about the lives of Aboriginal children who experience sexual abuse. Imagine if this was done to victims of the Catholic Church. Imagine that, Paul.
Great point. Great point.
Why is it that it's okay for Aboriginal children to suffer in silence and to all be part of this cover-up and to suggest that their lives aren't as important as a sexual abuse victim of the Catholic Church? It's unfathomable. That to me is what the real racism is. And I haven't fought, all my working career to get to where I have, to simply play politics with the lives of the most vulnerable. I am here because I've fought to be their voice, and that's what I'm doing. And if Labor don't like it, it's because it's them projecting on the fact that they are failing and they need to get their act together. And this should be a bipartisan approach where we come together for the benefit of our most vulnerable, not tit for tat, not the media running off and making a huge circus about all of this nonsense. That's what this is about. And the people of Alice Springs are sick to death of being misrepresented, not listened to, certainly not listened to by the left-wing media, or made out to be a bunch of raving racists or a group of victimised Aboriginal people who are only victims of, white supremacists and colonisation. Those that perpetuate those stereotypes are part of the problem. We will never solve these issues as long as people are prepared to make excuses and turn a blind eye.
Bloody oath. Look, I, like everyone else, hope that your job title changes in the next little while, but I certainly know that all we ever want is more strength to your arm, more strength in your heart, and more opportunities to hear from you. Love you, Senator. We'll talk to you soon.